Should you rent or buy a house in 2026? If you're having trouble deciding, it could be because you're asking the wrong questions. If you want better answers, ask better questions. Over the last 9 years in helping hundreds of people buy and sell houses, I've identified the 3 most important questions that you need to answer yes to before you decide to buy a house. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 most important questions that you need to answer to decide if it's time to buy or should you stay renting. Along the way, I'm going to demonstrate the 2 spreadsheets that I put together that'll give you instant clarity with actual math. If you want, you can grab your own free copy of those spreadsheets in the description below. No sign up required, no registration. All I ask is that if you're getting value out of this, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Let's dive in. So what are these 3 questions? If you can answer yes to the following 3 questions, you, in my opinion, should strongly consider buying. The first is, are you motivated to buy? The second question is it smart for you to buy right now? And the third, should I buy now or wait? Now, 2 and 3 sound very similar, so stick with me as I walk through these questions and how you should think about them and what a yes and a no looks like. And of course, we're going to do the math. So back to question number 1, are you motivated to buy? Now, this is a little bit more of a personal question. You got to really dig into what is driving you to buy. Is it, I need a bigger place, or I'm just tired of my neighbors? What's driving you here? Normally, if someone's personal motivations aren't strong enough, they tend to quit the process when things get tough. So if you've really dug in and examined it and you have some good, strong reasons that you want to buy, your answer to this question is yes, and we can move on to question number 2. So question number 2 is, should I buy or keep renting? This is a classic math question. There's a ton of videos out here on this where everyone has these special magic formulas. Most of the magic formulas, honestly, are total crap. They're not specific to anyone's situation. You can't take a multiplier, add it to your income, and just say, oh, it's right for me here or there. Depending on which suburb or even neighborhood inside of a suburb you're in here in North Texas, your tax rate could change, your insurance amount could change. There's a lot of variables here. So just because one area might not be right for you, there might be another that could. Also, your payment goes into this. So there's not a blanket way to go about this. I'm going to try to get as close as I can with this calculator here, but just keep in mind, if you're close or you're on the line, let's talk, because there might be a way to get you across that line with some seller's help and concessions. I've done other videos where I show you how to actually use the seller's money to make your house purchase more affordable. You can check out that video right here. But to answer this question, now we get to dive into the spreadsheet. Yes. So here's the spreadsheet I put together for you. It looks a little complicated, but I tried to make this as comprehensive yet simple as I could. So you start with your rental amount. This is the average current median rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in DFW right now. And this is the median price for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Now, I put the household income at $100,000. You can put whatever you want here. I know some people are already rolling their eyes, but median income across DFW is about $95,000 right now. So this is pretty close to what your median household is earning. And then here's a spot to put your current savings amount. So whatever you have currently put away to save or to put down on the house, this is where you would add that. The next area you're going to choose is you're going to get your down payment set up. So you can choose between any of these here. I would recommend just leaving it at 5%, unless you want to put down a lot more. Go up if you can. So then it's going to automatically calculate your down payment amount from your desired home price up here. And the interest rate. So this is the current going rate or average rate, I should say, for an FHA loan. If you want to check current rates, you can click here, take the average rate that it's currently in the market, and plug it back into this calculator. Now, the assumptions, I would challenge you to leave this alone unless you know 100% what it would be, but you could change the home insurance rate, property tax rate, any of these that you want to play with as you play with this calculator. And if you ever mess this up and you want to come back and change them back, come back to this video, and I got them right here. The one that I put intentionally a little low is the home appreciation rate of 2.5%, and I put it less than the average rental appreciation rate. That's standard across the board. Over the last 15, 20 years, about 3.5% per year for rental appreciation. Here in North Texas, prices have been pretty stagnant. If you want to check out some of my market updates, see what's going on, you can check it out right here or just subscribe to the channel. So once you do that, you're going to get out some other numbers here. So you're going to get your principal and interest, estimated taxes, estimated insurance, and HOA to get your total payment. Now, why do I put this tax stuff here? Well, what most people don't talk about, and I think this is important, is the tax savings that comes along with owning a house. See, every year you pay on a mortgage, you can deduct the interest from your taxes, essentially giving you money back in your pocket. And when accurately comparing renting versus owning, yes, there's maintenance involved with a house, but there's also tax savings and breaks there as well. So I'm putting this in here to help show you a tax-adjusted payment amount to accurately compare that to the rental. So if you're married filing jointly and you make $100,000 a year, you're going to save about 22% is your tax rate. This is your annual savings. And so that would be your monthly savings. This would be your adjusted tax rate. So this automatically starts calculating for you what year you're going to break even. And it tells you by that break even year, how much equity you've gained, through your payments, total equity, total tax savings, and then your profit if sold. So off of your investment here of your total cash due to close, $27,600, without any seller credits or anything, you would have made 356.8% return or 60% a year if all this holds true. Remember, we're throwing in our tax savings in that because that is real money back in your pocket. So in this particular case, the total payment based on income, now this is based on the FHA guidelines, your minimum and maximum here, should be $25.83 to $37.50. So do you have enough cash to close? This is actually looking at whether or not your savings amount you put in here covers your cash to close. Is your payment within your target range? So it's trying to say, does the payment here you're looking for fall between this? Yes. And honestly, even your total payment falls between there, so good. And then will you break even in less than 7 years? Now, why did I put that there? Most people buy a house and they move on average right around 7 to 10 years. Well, I don't want you to break even at the very end of your stay there. I want you to be gaining more equity. Because obviously, if you're going to break even in year 7, but you move in year 5, well, you lost 2 years there. And so that would have been a bad deal for you. So if you can break even in 7 and you're there 5 more years, that's 5 years of extra gain. So that's why I put that here. Now, your situation may be different. If you don't think you can stay there until that break-even point or sooner, buying may not be a good choice for you. So, for example, let me change some of these numbers real quick and just show you. If the desired home price was $500,000, all of a sudden these numbers don't work. Do you have enough cash to close? No. Is your payment within the range? No. Will you break even? Nope. And based on this, I think you should wait. So this will show you if you're being unrealistic or you don't think you can afford it, it will show you that you should wait. So that's the buy versus rent calculator that I put together. So those 3 questions on this sheet help you answer question number 2. And if that's a yes, so you answered yes, I have good motivation. Yes, it makes more financial sense for me to buy versus rent right now because I can stay enough years to break even and the payments make sense and all that, great. Because what this calculator shows you is worst case scenario. This shows you everything out of your pocket with no help from the seller. But we can do better than that. So just know that if this even comes close to making sense, let's talk because I can get you a credit from a seller in the right deal, in the right house, and make this much more affordable than even this calculator shows. Okay, question number 3 is, should I buy now or should I wait? So you've decided I have the motivation and you've decided buying makes more sense than renting. The third question is really, should I buy now? Does it make sense for me to buy right now? That's a good question because it's slightly different than the last one. Buying versus renting is a different question than should I buy right this second? Now, the first step to this, honestly, is does it make sense as a buyer in this market? Again, my calculator is not going to show you that. Watch my market updates. I talk about that at the end of every video. Is it good for buyers right now or sellers or both? What are the strategies? This calculator I'm about to show you will actually really help you determine, does it make sense right now? So let's dive in. So what you can see on this calculator is this side on the left looks very similar to the last one, but you can still change all these numbers. I'm gonna leave them alone again. So what we're looking at is scenario 1 is the buy now. So total payment, $28.99. This one I added the PMI on, so that's why it's a little bit different than the last one. So PMI. Now this is an estimate. I hate putting this on here honestly, but I wanted to get as close as I could to accurate. Just know that When using these, it's estimates only. You need to get approved. This is for demonstration only, not financial advice. I got to say those disclaimers. So use this, and this will give you a general estimate here of what that total payment looked like, what you should bring to closing. So then right down here, you're going to put in how many years are you going to wait? 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to put. You can play the numbers again. See what it looks like. 1 is obviously not going to be that much different, but you can still see if it was going to work out better for you. So if you wait 1 year, again, with these numbers over here, home appreciation, home maintenance, rent appreciation, all that gets factored in. So then you go over to this scenario 2. Buy now plus refi in 1 year. So you're buying now, you're paying the loan for 1 year. That's what the loan amount would be after the 1 year. And so then this last one is you're going to make a guesstimate on what that rate would be in the time you wait. So if you're trying to wait for rates to get to 5, put that here. If you want them to go to 4.5, put that here. If you're waiting to go to 3%, well, good luck. I wish I had a crystal ball knowing those are coming, but put that here if you really want to see it. This would be the rate after refi, because this is what you're waiting for. So we're just going to put 5% here. And so what this does is this drops your total payment to $2,702. So you buy now, and then in 1 year you refi, and you drop your payment by almost $200. So your down payment, again, from the previous one was $17,250. That's over here. You've already paid $4,139 in principal, and your house went up $8,600 in value. Total equity of $30,000. If you were to rent for that 1 year, the future price of the house would be $353. The loan would be $335, and so your total payment would be $2793 on that same house. So about $90 more expensive per month, and you only have $17,681 in equity. That's your down payment. So when you bought the house, you put it in. So you have a little bit more equity from the down payment, but you missed out on the paid principal and the appreciation. So you have less equity. Now here's the kicker though, is that in that 1 year, the homeowner paid $17,000 in interest. Well, rent can be thought of as 100% interest, and the renter paid $25,800 in interest. But they got zero tax savings from that, while the homeowner got a $3,824 in tax savings. Meaning they only paid an adjusted amount of $13,557 in interest, while the renter still paid the full $25,800 in rent. So this becomes a lot more drastic, let's say if you wait 3 years. And let's lower this to 4.5, because in 3 years, economy's better, and now it's a 4.5. Very same house is now $2,559. So you lowered your payment quite a bit, over $340, while they're paying $2,828. Now that's a much bigger difference. This is almost back to what that original rate was at the higher interest rate. Now they're putting more down, but obviously the equity got much bigger because they've paid more principal in those time and had more appreciation. So a much bigger equity difference, and $42,500 in interest. Ouch. But that renter in the same time paid $77,400. So all this to say is I played with these numbers quite a bit, and there were very few scenarios where the renter should wait a year or so. Honestly, when looking at this, and you can play with these numbers too, see if you can break it, let me know. Love to hear you in the comments that you broke the calculator and you figured out how renting makes more sense. But most of the time in the real world, owning a home will build more wealth for you, especially because of what we're seeing here. Market appreciation, tax savings, and forced savings through your principal reduction. I've heard the argument many, many times about, well, if you took that difference and you reinvested it in the stock market, blah, blah, blah. You're right. That is assuming that you do it. Why then do most renters have a net worth that is 40 to 50 times lower than the average homeowner? It's because we don't do it. So keep that in mind. There's a reason why homeowners almost always build more wealth. It's because it is a set it and forget it way to build wealth. You buy a house, it grows in value over time. Your mortgage is being paid down over the years, and you can pay that down faster. And one of the things I didn't even include in all this, because again, it gets really hard to model, is how often people use. Renters move on average every 1.5 years. You could even say between 1.5 and 3 if you want, but every time you do that, you're not getting your full deposit back usually. There's the cost of moving, the hassle of buying new stuff, because inevitably you break it or you want to get rid of some stuff. Well, homeowners, like I just said, move every 10 to 12 years. And when they move, they cash out equity, and they usually move or trade up houses. They buy a bigger, better house or a nicer house of the same size. You have more options there. So anyway, I know I'm biased. I fully admit that. I'm a realtor. My chosen career is to help people buy and sell real estate, accomplish the American dream. But I'm telling you, the math works out when you really sit down and you look at it. Feel free to argue with me. That's fine. But hopefully this helps you get a little bit of clarity if you are someone who wants to buy a house, but might have been a little bit scared about the market or the timing. Get these free calculators. They're in the description below. There's no registration required. Get them, see what they say, and then reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. I promise I'm easy to talk to. We can discuss your situation and come up with a plan to get you into the house that you deserve.